Welcome to the Nautic Days by Dufour, the online nautical show. Today, we will be focusing on Dufour Yachts' newest generation of boats following its integration with the Fountaine-Pajot group, the Dufour 470 and the Dufour 530. With us are Nicolas Béranger, Commercial Director for Dufour Yachts, and Jérémy Rousseau, Project Manager for both the 470 and 530. Hello.
Hello.
Jérémy, can you tell us in which context these boats were imagined?
Alors, les Dufour 530 et 470 ont été conçus dans un contexte de nouvelle direction avec l'arrivée de Fountaine-Pajot. C'était la nouvelle génération qui arrivait. C'était des bateaux importants pour le groupe. Et pour le 470 en particulier, lui, il a été développé pendant la période Covid. Donc, un contexte assez nouveau et il a fallu trouver des solutions pour s'adapter et réussir ces projets.
Nicolas, let's start with the 470. Can you give us a brief introduction to this model?
The 470 for me is an amazing boat. I mean, it's a big step forward in the history of Dufour. Not speaking about technicals, but speaking about the design and the look of the boat. Immediately when you visit a marina, if there is a 470, you will identify the boat immediately because it has a special design on the hull. You have a shine below, a shine up. So the boat is one of the first big volume boat for Dufour. It's a very different design from any other boat, any other brand on the market. So it's a real step forward, yeah.
Jérémy, can you tell us why this boat is so special?
Alors, il est spécial parce qu'il arrivait en remplacement du 460, qui était un best-seller pour le chantier, un bateau important. Il fallait conserver son ADN et ce qui fait qu'il fonctionnait bien, tout en amenant de la nouveauté, plus de confort et de volume. Et c'est ce qui a été réussi. Et on a aussi... C'était le premier bateau pour le chantier sur lequel on a utilisé le procédé d'infusion, une manière d'infuser la coque, enfin de fabriquer la coque, qui permet une meilleure maîtrise technique, une meilleure qualité de composite, un meilleur confort pour les opérateurs, les personnes qui la fabriquent, avec une meilleure sécurité pour la santé. Et c'était un pas important pour le chantier qui a demandé beaucoup de travail en parallèle. Et d'ailleurs, tous les bateaux qui ont suivi, tous les nouveaux modèles qui arrivent, sont calqués sur ce procédé. Et c'est un pas important pour le chantier.
If I can add, it looks like very normal when you hear Jérémy. From his side, it's not normal, but it's a big job. But you have to imagine that it was a real challenge for the boatyard. It was like a revolution. I mean, in the same time, we were introducing new people, we were introducing new technology, we were moving the design of the boats because the 470 is a much bigger boat and a big change into the design of our boat. Introducing that new technology, I remember this day. It was quite. There was a lot of pressure into the boatyard. So it's not just we change the way we do. No, we revolution the way we do, and it's a big add, a big plus for the boat, for the users, for the owners, because the boat is better, stronger. You know that it will dure a lot more. I mean, it will be more durable. So it's difficult in terms of technology, in terms of change for the factory, but for the users itself, for the owner himself, it's a big advantage.
Let's hear what the owners of a 470 have to say.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Ray Gill. I am a new owner of this Dufour 470, which is here for the first time at the Annapolis Boat Show, and I am very happy to be here. We have been boating in the Annapolis, Chesapeake area for about 8 or 9 years. Previously, we were on a Hunter 41, and it was time to review some options and look at a more new boat, a new option, a bigger boat. And the Dufour 470 was really the boat that we knew immediately was the right boat for us. So the main features for us were the 3 cabins and the 2 or 3 head layout. We think that works well for guests and friends and family. And then the forward galley, which is very unusual footprint for a boat of this size. Lots of refrigeration, as well as a lot of storage and personal lounging areas. And of course, the aft cockpit was, in our mind, second to none. It gave us a single table, so there was plenty of room, as well as good lounging areas for our friends and family to come along. So normally we're 4 people, but you know, the boat will sleep 6 people behind closed doors, and then 2 more if you convert the table. So that's a good group. What we use these boats for, or this boat for, is coastal cruising. We love doing 3 and 4 day trips, maybe a 2-week trip, staying on the hook, staying on a mooring. So fully air conditioned, fully heating, good good plumbing and refrigeration. So for the cruising couple who's staying on it, maybe with a guest or 2, we think this is the sweet spot. So initially we'll just be cruising within the Chesapeake area, and then we're coastal cruisers. We're not heading to Europe or Spain, but I think ultimately as we become a little more comfortable with the vessel, we'll probably go to the Northeast, Connecticut, Long Island, and New England in maybe a year or so. And we think it's the right boat for that kind of travel. I think for someone looking maybe for an upgraded or an upsized cruising vessel, I think the Dufour is an excellent middle ground. I think there's a lot of value for the price point. When you're ultimately done, it's going to be lower than a Hylas. It's going to be lower than some of the other upscale brands, but it's also not thinly made. The build quality, the fit and finish is strong. So I really believe that if you compare this boat to other vessels, you're going to find an excellent value at the price point. We were happy to work with the Dufour dealer here in Annapolis on the East Coast. They were exceptional from start to finish. For myself, communication, getting back to you, having technical data is key to any sale. I'm in the sales business myself, and I found their customer service and their follow-through was exceptional. Along the way, because of COVID, because of supply, there was some ups and downs. However, we were never out of communication. I never felt as that they came to me with misinformation. And ultimately, as maybe you can see here, everything has been delivered as promised and as proposed. So overall, we are a very happy customer because of the product and because of the services, maybe more importantly, the services and commitment behind the product. So we're happy. Come down, come to Annapolis, find the Dufour people. There's a boat here for everybody. Enjoy the day.
Nicolas, I've heard you have a special bond with the 530. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I will always remember my first weeks in Dufour, and when I joined Dufour, they told me, one of the first weeks, they told me, oh, there is a 530, you have to present the boat to the press. The boat is in La Rochelle, just go sail. Okay, I will go. And then it was something like 25 knots of wind or 30 knots. It was wavy, like it can be on westerly wind in La Rochelle. And it was too wavy for the photograph to take photos with a rib. So he came with me on the boat, and I was very surprised by the capacity of the boat to tag, to jibe, to go fast, to slow down. I was able to play with all the boats around and to go behind, then to go faster than them. The boat is super easy to maneuver, even in strong condition. Even if you don't know the boat, you can immediately jump onto the boat and be easy with her. So yeah, that's a great boat and very powerful. Even in 25, 30 knots of wind, we even had sometimes 40 knots in some gusts, and the boat was just safe. Yes, heeling like a monohull, but not heeling too much, and always safe in waves. We were wet because it was raining, but not that wet because of waves. So I was very amazed by the sailing capacity of that 530. A very great boat.
It's a very comfortable boat.
Everything what we say, and we were, in the DNA of Dufour, you have comfort, performance, and fun. And yeah, we had fun because we were able to play with it was a real toy, a big toy, but a nice toy. And performance, yeah, we could be faster than others, and comfort because we were very safe all the time, and we were able to go into the boat and go out. It was super. It's a real fantastic boat, yeah.
What are its strong points?
Alors les points clés, les points forts du 530, c'est son nombre de versions d'aménagement qui permet de répondre aux propriétaires qui va vouloir naviguer en couple, donc avec une grande cabine avant, avec beaucoup de confort, une grande salle de bain, une grande douche. Et jusqu'à la version où on peut loger 12 personnes pour un groupe d'amis qui va vouloir naviguer, louer le bateau pour naviguer ensemble pendant une semaine, où chacun aura son couchage et un confort appréciable en termes de nombre de salles de bain, de nombre de toilettes. Donc on retrouve tout ce panel qui va répondre à chaque besoin. Et on retrouve aussi cette philosophie à l'extérieur avec 3 plans de pont. Une version easy, donc assez simple, justement pour naviguer facilement, sans difficulté quand on va être un petit peu plus novice, jusqu'à la version performance, où la personne un peu plus aguerrie, un peu plus fine techniquement, va pouvoir utiliser le bateau dans la meilleure de ses configurations et vraiment prendre plaisir à naviguer de manière plus performante.
Yeah, in its performance version, the boat is very strong and very powerful. There is a in-between situation when you can have the ocean version where it's easy to maneuver. All boats are always easy to maneuver, but easy to use and still performing very well. Yeah. So you have 3 different layouts, and then we can answer all the demands on the market.
What future have you imagined for these boats?
The future is already here. The future is already here because we have a 470 sailing with an electrical engines since last July. The first hybrid solution for Dufour was in the water on the 470 in early July, and in 1 month, on the first month, the boat sailed something like 800 miles, nautical miles, around the west coast of France until the north of Brittany. So not super Mediterranean and sunny and easy conditions. And the owners, who are sailors and very experienced sailors, and they've been racing a lot, and they are all amazed by the sailing capacity of the boat. They send us a lot of photos about their performance during their cruising. They were super happy by the easy to use boat, and also by the game changing with this electrical solution. It really changed the way you sail your boat, because you enter or you go out of the marina without any noise. You have an immediate response with the throttle because of the engine. So it's super safe. It's eco-friendly. So it's only positive points. And on the 530, we already delivered one 530 in a hybrid engine to a charter company, to Dream Yacht Charter. And they also committed into 9 more boats, electric engines. So Dream Yacht is really trusting us on that solution, and they are leading the story with us, Dufour, with our own solution. But maybe I think we already spoke about that.
Yes, indeed. It's a very promising future, and we do speak about the smart electric transition in a podcast. Great, thank you very much. Jérémy, maybe you can tell us if, and also Nicolas, by the way, did you learn anything in particular from these boats?
Alors, oui, on a forcément appris beaucoup avec ce bateau, mais comme on apprend en fait à chaque nouveau bateau, chaque nouveau projet, où déjà on renavigue sur un nouveau bateau, on apprend de ce bateau, on écoute les retours des gens qui vont naviguer dessus, des premiers clients, des premiers concessionnaires qui auront eu les bateaux, de Nicolas qui va avoir navigué à un œil un peu plus fin techniquement. Là, on doit être à une centaine de 470, je pense. Donc on a beaucoup de retours, beaucoup d'expériences dans des configurations d'utilisation différentes, dans des programmes différents, voilà. Donc forcément, on apprend tous les jours. C'est une discussion. C'est un fil rouge tout au long de l'année. C'est pas au mois de janvier de discuter ensemble. On a des retours tous les jours, des échanges de ce qui pourrait être amélioré, de ce qu'on doit conserver. Oui, on apprend tous les jours.
It's very important for us to hear about the feedback from our customers, from the users themselves. I was in Greece 1 month ago sailing with some owners of 530. And once again, we had something like 20 knots of wind, and sharing a time on the boat. I mean, looking at people sailing our boat helps us a lot to understand what we should do better, or what we can improve, what is good, what is less good. Jeremy is quite humble, saying, "Yeah, we make some progress." No, he's putting a lot of energy into the new models, trying to understand what we have on the market, trying to understand what the customers are doing, how they sell. So it's a lot of discussion. They try to understand us when we come back from boat show or from business trip, trying to tell them, oh, this boat is this and this, oh, you should change it. No, they do an amazing job, the design team, to try to adapt the boat and try to make them evolve as well, because it's not you launch a boat and okay, the boat is launched and now we go to another boat. No, all during the whole life of the boat, they are able to change some details, to adapt and to make the boat evolve. So it's an everyday process and a long-term process as well, and I would say that they are doing all a very amazing job.
Et il y a plusieurs aspects dans le fait d'apprendre des bateaux. Il y a déjà naviguer, nous, sur les bateaux, comprendre comment ils fonctionnent, repérer des petites choses, se faire une bonne idée du bateau, passer du temps avec les personnes qui naviguent, nos concessionnaires qui utilisent les bateaux tous les jours, qui les mettent en location. Et c'est de faire la synthèse entre toutes ces personnes qui naviguent, qui ont des besoins différents, et d'essayer de trouver le meilleur compromis et de faire vraiment progresser, de prendre en compte les remarques pour qu'à chaque nouveau bateau, on avance d'un pas et qu'on s'améliore à chaque projet.
Well, that sounds very interesting, and it's great information for future owners and current owners of the 470 and 530. Where can you see or test them?
Everywhere in the world, as always. We have 530 in the BVI, in the British Virgin Islands. We have 530 in Greece, in Croatia, in Australia. You can meet a 470 in Annapolis, in New York, in Norway. There is a very nice owner, he's in Stavanger, if I'm correct, or it's Christiansen, not sure what the name. But he will be super happy to introduce you the boat because he's very proud about his 470. There are plenty of happy sailors everywhere in the world. So just if you see one of these boats in the marina, just say hello and they will be happy to show you their boat.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.